The program for tonight, we'll start in prayer, led by our special character leader. Then you'll hear an address from our principal, Tong. The head boy will speak to you, and Keith Wade, one of our Year 9 students, will tell you about his journey thus far this year. And then we will put you into groups to lead you around the school so you can get a taste of what we have to offer. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Joseph Pagia, our special character leader, to lead us in prayer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph. Here at St. John's, we have a college prayer. And could you please join me in saying it as we put ourselves in the presence of the Lord? In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving God, we gather in your name and ask that your Spirit be with us, a spirit of wisdom and courage, of gentleness and peace. Be with us in all that we do, and help us to make St. John's College a truly Catholic and Marist educational community, living a family spirit, promoting the love of work, being present to one another, showing solidarity with those in need, doing everything in a spirit of simplicity and in the way of Mary. We make this prayer in Jesus' name and through the intercession of Mary, our good mother, John the Apostle, Marcelin Champagne, and all the saints. Amen. Mary, our good mother, St. John the Apostle, St. Marcelin Champagne. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. We'll now hear from our principal, Mr. Tong.
Tēnā koutou talo whā hula, hula vanaka malo, kamusta Māori, namaskar. Hello, welcome parents, caregivers, most importantly, the future St. John's young men in the audience, welcome. Thank you all for showing an interest in St. John's College for 2027. There might even be a few of you here who are looking a bit beyond that. Thank you to our jazz band, really appreciate that. My name is Shane Tong. I'm a proud principal and old boy of the college. If you were here tonight wanting to know our point of difference, it is that St. John's is more than just a place to go to school. We are a community, we're a family, and as such we leave no one behind. So who are we? We're a Marist Catholic school, and proud of that fact. We're comfortable talking about and promoting the core Marist Catholic values of respect and love for one another and Christ. We call each other brothers and Johnny's boys, and we're not embarrassed about that. We are a traditional boys' school and offer a traditional education with high expectations of our young men, and we make no apologies about that. We expect our boys to take responsibility for themselves, their actions, and for those, the vulnerable in their lives who rely on them. We provide a place where our young men achieve academically. Last year's pass rates were outstanding. You'll get more of that information later tonight. This is a safe environment where it is not embarrassing to be in the choir or the concert band, jazz bands, kapahaka or school production. Most of all, we grow our boys into confident, resilient, happy, respectful, fine, young Christian men, Marist men, of faith, of integrity, and of service. We have a maximum roll of 925. It's a great size to be, big enough to provide a full range of opportunities for our boys, but small enough to remain a tight-knit community. At St. John's, one of the hallmarks is the outstanding support and involvement from our community, our parents, whether that be on the sidelines or in attendance at other events. We are a real force in the sporting arena. We appreciate that sports and culture and faith play important roles in the development of young men. And if you're rep players out there, you no doubt know how many of our boys are top sportsmen. We have a proud 65-year history, and our old boys and their families stay connected and bonded. St. John's, as I say, gets in your blood. Our boys are part of something that stays with them for life. As an old boy myself, I speak from experience. It is a privilege to be part of this family. There's absolutely no school I'd rather be part of. If you're wondering about how the preference and policy of entry to the school works, rather than me trying to explain it, it's best if you go on the website, it's all there for you to see. Most importantly, if you're coming here to find the answers, you will be coming here to find the answers to a wide range of questions. What are the academics like? How good are we at sport? Do they offer a technology program? Are they truly Catholic? What are their facilities like, etc.? You'll get to see some of that tonight. And later an email will come with more information. These are all good questions that you should ask. But what is it that matters most in a school for you? What do you really want for your sons, firstly and foremostly from a school? I suggest the following. Will he be safe? Will he be happy and look forward to school? Will he matter and not just be a number? Will they nurture and respect his culture? Will they help him to grow into a fine, well-rounded young man who is prepared for an ever-changing life? Will he belong? Will he see role models that he looks up to? Will they communicate with us and let us know of any issues? Will they challenge him? Will the principal take my call when it really matters? I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, the mere fact that I know these are the questions on your minds should give you some comfort. Of course I'm going to say yes to all of those. But don't take my word. Ask the boys. Ask other parents. You probably have. That's why you're sitting here already. What I can tell you is that you will not regret becoming part of the St. John's College community. Have a great evening, God bless. Can I ask Yeonjoon Kim, our head boy for 2025 to come forward? 2026. I'm just saying I've done this 15 times. 2026, come forward please.
Kia ora koutou. 모두들 안녕하십니까? Good afternoon to you all who may be feeling a bit nervous, excited, or even curious. And that includes you parents as well. My name is Yeonjoon Kim, your head student for St. John's College for 2026. Almost exactly 6 years ago, I was sitting right there on the left-hand side of the bleachers, barely keeping myself awake, listening to Mr. Tong's speech. Now, some of you here may already know St. John's inside out, with a sibling or some other family members attending the school before you. But like most of you here, I knew almost nothing about the school. I still remember having the greatest conflict over whether I should stay in school uniform or change into mufti for this exact evening. And for your information, I stayed in school uniform only to find myself being one of less than 10 other year 8s who did so. As you can tell, I had close to no references to go off of. Nobody I knew went to this school, and I didn't have anyone to ask even the simplest questions to. I was honestly scared. But when the school bell rang for the very first time, I realized how useless my concerns really were. Us juniors were fully supported until we felt like we completely fitted in as part of the school. Teachers guided us between foreign classrooms, and the tuakana of the schools were friendlier than they could have ever been. It did not take me long until the intimidating image of high school seniors my mind drew up was completely contradicted by the real ones. From the first day, I clearly understood what everyone meant by St. John's College having a brotherly atmosphere. Everyone and everything felt so welcoming, and it felt like people actually appreciated me and wanted me to be at this school. Only a day in, the lost little boy was struck with relief. He knew that St. John's was a choice that he made, and he was not going to regret it. And 4 years later, he stands here, still quite little, but not as anxious, to tell you all that he definitely made the right choice. Now, I know a number of you are still asking the same grand question. Will I fit in? And it's fine. I've asked myself the same thing hundreds of times. Personally, coming from a non-sporting background, I was honestly concerned if my arts and academic background would fit into an all-boys school. But as our assistant principal, Mr. Ardern, said, at St. John's, everyone has a place and everyone has a space. There are countless opportunities that are offered and advertised throughout the school, whether it is part of the sports, arts, cultural, academical, or Catholic character of the school. Co-curricular and extracurricular activities are strongly encouraged across all student bodies. But even if you're not involved in any of these things, I can assure you one thing. You will not be rejected, denied, or abandoned within the school in any way, shape, or form because of your interests, backgrounds, or beliefs. We instead care, embrace, and communicate with you if anything isn't right, because we see the potential and strengths of everyone, not just the select few or a particular group. St. John's provides the exact same opportunities whoever you are, a true environment where if you have a goal and strive for it, you will achieve it. I hope you have all received a slight insight of what the school experience may look like for a newcomer. Nervous or not, have lots of fun tonight. Don't be afraid to ask a bunch of questions and just try to soak up as much as you can about the school. Thank you all for your focus, and in the spirit of St. John's, Caritas Christi erget nos. May Christ's love urge you on in your future endeavors. I'll invite Keith Wade now, our Year 9 student, to come up and speak to you all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith Wade, and I'm a Year 9 student at St. John's College. My first few days at St. John's were overwhelming. Lots to take in, however, never did I feel unwelcome or out of place. One thing you'll first hear and notice is the word brothers. This is what makes the school work. This year, our leaders have came up with the motto, be a brother. Our leaders are like the older brothers. From them, I have learned to be a brother and to stand up for other brothers as they would for me. When you have over 900 brothers looking out for you, you are never alone, and that makes it easier to come and leave school each day. Unlike your usual primary, where sometimes you have to drag yourself out of bed, it isn't like that here. I find myself waking up in the morning, feeling excited, and often beat my mum into the car, something she never thought would happen. Might not last 5 years, but it's working at the moment. At St. John's, whether you have good or bad grades, the teachers here are very supportive to all of us. All they want is for us to do our best, and since I've started here, my grades have shot up. I know some of the subjects might sound a bit overwhelming, but don't worry, it's much easier than you think. After you have that hard hour of learning, you have 5 minutes to get to your next class, which gives you a quick small break you need to refresh your mind. Like I said before, the teachers here at St. John's are very friendly and supportive. Not only do the teachers make sure you're doing work, but also make sure you're comfortable and confident at what you're doing. My advice to our future Year 9s is to ask questions. Don't let your fear stop you from asking questions, and straight away your teacher will notice you. You want to be noticed for your successes. Plenty of opportunities to be noticed for those. The class of 2026 is very lucky to have Mr. Tiao as our dean. He is a good man and has helped us to fit in our school, and I'm sure your dean will do the same. As a Pacific student, it definitely made it easier for me to fit in. And since I already knew some of the older boys here, it gave me more confidence. As soon as it hits 8:45, we are in our form class learning songs to sing at assemblies. And every Friday, we do dance practices after school, which we are all privileged to be a part of. Walking through the gates, I don't feel like I have to leave my culture behind. I can be proud of being a Pacific student. Plus, we can be successful in both our learning, and I can be proud of being a Pacific student. We also have a kabaka group which also runs after school on a Friday, learning new waiata and haka for those interested. There are a lot of opportunities at St. John's, and if you're offered one, make sure you take it, because opportunities is what helps you get noticed. One of the easiest things I found about St. John's is the capability to make friends. You being able to make friends will give you that extra step in high school enjoyment you need. If you're the type to play sports such as basketball, rugby, football, volleyball, whatever it is, there's a place for that. Or if you're the type to just sit somewhere with your fellow Year 9 friends to play your favourite game on your laptop, there's a place for that. Or even if you just want to kick back and talk about what you perhaps did on the weekend, there's a place for that, everywhere. My final piece of advice is to finish Year 8 with your head up high and tall, so you can be ready to become a Johnny's boy. So to each and every one of you boys here today, do not be afraid, as we are brothers, ready to look after each other. Thank you.
So welcome to our department. It is beautiful. Seeing all our classes, feel free to have a walk around. You'll be going out the back door, I think, to the social science department, which is a mirror image of this. And then the rest becomes more original and brown after that. So I'm going to talk to you about English Te Reo and literacy today. This is a subject that won't be available until year 12, but some elements of it will be taught before that. So I just thought I'd let you know what we want our boys to come out with at the end of phase 4, which is year 9 and 10 here. We want them to have fun. We want them to have fun learning. And we're really proud of the fact that the novels that the boys will read in year 9, they're all New Zealand authors. So Enemy Camp, from the prison camp that was in Featherston. Porangi Boy, this is Shiloh Kino's first book. There's another one, a second one in the library now. Stop the Tour is another one, but it's in someone else's classroom. And if you're here 5 years after you start, I probably won't be teaching this in 5 years' time, but this is a great book. I highly recommend it. Michael Bennett, a journalist and playwright. This is his first book. He's since written 2 others, and they're really great as well. We want our learners to be curious about the world that they live in, and be curious about the things they read, and critical and question things. We want to strengthen their communication and thinking skills. They're going to become really important in phase 5 of the new curriculum. And to develop an appreciation of literature and languages, culture and drama, because we do teach plays as well in the new curriculum. But basically just be a really well-informed person. So that's what we aim here in this department. So if you come here, you are going to take Te Reo Māori. You take it all year. You have 2 periods a week. You'll spend half the year with Mātua Jordan and half the year with Mātua Pai. It gives you a break from one or the other, and you swap. They continue teaching the same curriculum. It's at an introductory level. You don't have to know anything about anything just yet. And they're going to teach you a few things. Basic tikanga Māori. Oh, there. Okay, 2 slides ahead. Definitely the St. John's haka. We do have a house haka competition. It's really important. It usually hangs on whether the juniors know it or not. We'll hang out the back. Sentence structures, common vocabulary. Mātua Pai is fluent and teaches up to year 13 Te Reo. Mātua Jordan teaches to year 11. And also the Waina Karo and Tainui narratives, because we are on Tainui land here, so is most of Hamilton East. So that's what you learn in Te Reo. The only way that you won't be taking Māori, we understand that some boys come here a little bit undercooked in terms of reading and writing. And so we have a literacy course. So if you're not in Māori, you'll be in literacy. And we acknowledge, that you need extra help, and we have a course specifically designed for that. And the common assessment activities that are sat now, which are worth 20 credits, they sit them in year 10. We prepare for that This is the tool that I think some of you probably have already sat in your schools now. We're doing that at the end of the year. So either of these things, they're the same, interchangeable. We have 3 Year 9 literacy classes and 2 Year 10. It is not for the boys with learning disabilities or learning challenges like dyslexia, because we can overcome that very, very easily. It's for the boys that find it really difficult to read and write, or perhaps have missed a lot of school in their primary years and need to catch up. So now we come to the star of the show, English. All right, what do you remember about English, ladies and gentlemen?
We speak it.
Speak it? We do. Yeah. What does Dad remember about it?
Failing.
Oh no, we won't let that happen. Writing an essay? We are all 100% BYAD in this department. We're not being required to handwrite anything here. Lots of colour pencils and social studies, but we are all on our device here. We deliver a speech in Year 9. That's where it ends. We don't do that in Year 10. It's a really great task. We do read a lot of books. We do 15 minutes of reading at the beginning of every period. Your teacher will read as well. And we have an amazing librarian, Mrs. Keatley. You'll never meet a person that loves their job more than she does. And she has got our boys reading really, really well. And we do drama. This guy here appears in Year 13 in the new curriculum. We won't do him before that. So, yeah, we still teach everything that we used to know, the adults and your mums and dads used to know, but we do it a little bit differently. So this is what Phase 4 looks like. You're coming out of Phase 3. So we'll do a novel study, and they all be New Zealand texts, except if you get Mr. Tong, the principal. He seems to love The Outsiders, so that's going to be the best book that was ever written, according to him. Okay, he does the voices when he reads it to you as well. We do a short text comparison, so we will teach you 5 or 6 short text poems and short stories, and you get to look at the theme of identity and belonging. We use that all year, sense of identity and belonging. We do a speech, what's in a word, where you'll pick a word, and then you'll give me a 2-minute speech about that. And we aim to have a speech competition, so every core class will elect one person to represent them, and we'll have a competition. We teach a non-fiction text. This year we're going to use a film to do it, which we haven't chosen yet, so that'll be exciting. You do creative writing, which leads into persuasive writing here in Year 10, and we do a visual and digital text. So you'll be using your computer to look at your identity and where you belong and create an image about your heritage and where you come from and where you're going, which would be kind of fun. So that leads into another novel study at Year 10. We turn into formal writing. We start research, which is heavily in the new curriculum, so we teach you ethical ways to research and to look at disinformation, misinformation, get good stuff. A New Zealand play, and we're going to do a podcast because listening skills are in the new curriculum as well. English in a nutshell.
Okay, my name's Mr. Healy. I'm the Head of Social Sciences at St John's College here. I'm an old boy, so I went to school here from 85 to 89. Do we have any old boys here? Anybody went to school? You guys are really old boys. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, and so of course Mr. Tong's an old boy, and he's obviously a lot older than me. He's not here, is he? Okay. So, social sciences. Mrs. Bossinger's over here, so I didn't introduce her, I'm terrible. She's the Head of Geography. So obviously in Year 9, it's senior school, the high schools, we have social studies in the junior school. Year 9 and 10, it's one of their core subjects. They sit, so all the boys will do social studies. Social studies is made up of understanding the world. We try very hard to get the boys engaged with what's happening in the world. We have a current affairs quiz usually once a week. We try to look at current things that are happening as well as things that have happened probably in the past that affected us. It's becoming a challenge. We try to use inquiry to engage learning. That means getting them to try and find the answers. The challenge there, of course, these days with Google and AI and that kind of stuff is getting them to get the difference between what I like to refer to as faction and fiction. So people will tell you that it's a fact, but it's actually fiction and actual facts which are real and those kind of things. And that's a challenge, and it's becoming more challenging as time goes on. There's a certain orange-tinted man that likes to say things that are kind of not factual, and that can make it quite difficult for us as teachers encountering that. And then he's not the only one that does it. There's ones in New Zealand that do it as well, but it makes it difficult. And they can get it on TikTok, and of course if it's on TikTok it must be true, which makes it even more challenging. And hopefully that leads to this, and this is probably the bit that's been really pushed hard at schools right now, is participating knowledgeably in society. We want that civics-based education to become more and more prominent. Too many young people leave school and don't engage with society, and particularly, you know, the political side of things, voting, being involved with local councils, being involved with community groups, and that kind of stuff. Because without that, we end up, you know, with a disengaged society, and that's what we're probably getting our sort of, if we're not careful. We have a quiz, because I like quizzes, because I'm a social scientist. Who's the Prime Minister of... Oh, by the way, only the children, not the parents. Well done. This is for the young men, I'll accept sisters, because they're usually smarter, but not the parents. If you whisper, I probably won't know. And so we have history. So Mr. Cullen Wright is our history teacher. Unfortunately, he can't make it tonight. So we're pretty lucky here in the Waikato, because Mr. Cullen Wright's a big fan of New Zealand history. He's big into his military history as well. So one of the things we do, particularly in Year 13, is the New Zealand Wars. And of course the Waikato Wars were very prominent around this area. So he starts in Pukekohe at the church, and they do all through the battlefields, and they end up in Rangiowhia as well, and Aurika over out by Te Amuru there. And in between that, they get to go and fire a musket as well, which is pretty cool. And the boys get really engaged in it. They go to the places where it actually happened. They can see where the battles happen, and it's pretty fun. So Mr. Cullen Wright's been doing that for quite a few years now. We're also quite lucky here with the university next door. The boys head across to the library there to use the New Zealand collection as well. This is well, a few years ago we went to Chunuk Bear. We weren't doing that again in a hurry. But who's this guy? The last group were really good at this. You have to know this to come to St John's College. He founded it. Yep. Sorry? No, it's not Joseph. He's a good bloke too. I'm not saying he's not, but Marcelin. You know his surname? What he was called? Marcelin Japan. He didn't have a surname. Yeah. So he's the founder of the Marist Order, just in case you're wondering. He founded the Marist Order in France. What was the name of New Zealand's first Catholic bishop? One of our houses is named after it. You don't know, it's terrible. Right. Pompelia, well done. Landed at Hokianga, which interestingly enough is why a large amount of our Māori Catholic students often have roots back up to Hokianga, because that's where Pompelia landed, and that's where he did his first baptisms and conversions. Miss, the fantastic subject of geography.
Okay, so geography is a really popular subject in the school, mainly because of the field trips that we do. We're very realistic about this. It's not also the edible soil profiles or the plate tectonics Oreos. It is mainly about the field trips. So year 11 we go to, this year we went to Raglan for the first time, a little bit closer. We did coastal processes. Part of our year 11 program is actually being able to recognise things spatially in the world and the distributions. We look at the impacts of the Boxing Day tsunami, and then we look at geographic issues around New Zealand and the Pacific. At level 2 is probably our most favourite course. We just changed it up this year. Some of our standards don't have a lot of credits, so we put them and combine them together. So we look at crime in Chicago and look at the spatial distribution of where it is and why it is where it is. And then for our examination topic and our research, we go down to Tongariro National Park. We go down in a couple of weeks' time and go down in the snow, which is what makes it a very, very favourite trip for everybody who goes, especially if there's lots of snow from one year to the next, you never know. And at year 13, we have a program which we go out, we look at the impact of the erosion at Port Waikato. We think it's quite important to look at where our river goes to and what's happening out there. And then we go to Rotorua, and this year we're tying together all their other internal assessments and the external with looking at homelessness in Rotorua and what's caused the problem and what potential solutions are to the issue, as well as tourism. Okay, and they are doing really well. We've had a few scholarships in the last few years as well. This
Sorry, Miss,
is at
skipping
the
through
beach,
this. Go back
Torrey
to that.
National Park, when there wasn't any snow. The year afterwards we went there and that was covered with snow and they had a massive snowball fight there. At the year 13s at the beach.
So which island is larger, the North Island and South Island? This is pretty easy. Yep.
South Island.
Yeah, well done. 50-50 chance there. Yeah, young man. Right. You're obviously smarter than Riley as well. All right. Which river is New Zealand's longest? Waikato, well done. Smart young man. All right. If you're wondering, it is this Waikato. The Clutha has got the most volume, but the Waikato is the longest. So economics is what I teach. So in the junior school, I should mention we also have social studies. We have business studies as well. So in year 10, the boys have an option of doing business studies, which is pretty fun, and they get an opportunity there to set up their own little business and come up with a product which they sell one night, and we bring all the parents in and they fleece them for all the money they have. But then in the senior school, we have economics as well. So in year 11, it's at this stage it's commerce, so there's curriculum changes happening everywhere, so I can't promise that. But then we then have year 12 and year 13 economics, which I teach. Year 12's what they describe as macroeconomics, so it's inflation, trade, growth, employment, and government policies around that. Oh, that was a bit quick. Okay, all right, thank you very much. You're fantastic.
And
Well
there's
done.
another subject called
Oh, I'm
accounting.
sorry. Apologies for that. I better get your head off. Thank you very much.
To the best place. So this is maths. I'm Mr. Barr. I'm the head of the maths department. Over there I've got Mr. Shee, who's one of the teachers in the department. And we've got 21 responses, 22. Did you enjoy maths when you were at school? That's quite interesting. So more than half of you liked it at least a bit. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that. I'm going to come back to that later in the presentation and talk about that. Oh no, I haven't gone back to the beginning from the last lot. Here we go. Alright, this year I've gone for AI generated slides because the slides that we were using before I started teaching here 11 years ago, so it was time we updated them. So similar content but definitely updated. Let me tell you a bit more about the department. So I've just introduced myself and Mr. Shee. We're 2 out of 8 maths teachers, and unlike most schools, we're really lucky that we've got 8 maths teachers who are full-time maths teachers, wannabe maths teachers. We're not pulling teachers in from PE or from social studies or from RE or anything like that. That's something we've had now here for at least 8 years, and there wouldn't be many schools around that can say that all of their maths teachers are dedicated maths teachers. And not only that, they represent 7 different ethnicities. So we have a real wealth of knowledge in our department, not just in terms of the subject knowledge, but also in terms of the way that we can engage with our students. We are, I believe, the most ethnically diverse department we've got in the school, which I think is really cool. The way that we try and do our teaching in the maths department is we try and be evidence-based. We teach things because we know they work, and the one thing we know works for maths education and for boys education is explicit teaching. So you'll see most maths rooms in this school, in fact all of them now are, the desks look like they would have done probably when you were at school, where the students are sitting in pairs facing the front. We don't sit in groups. We sometimes have collaborative work where they might be working in pairs, but we don't do the group discovery type work that was really popular 10 to 15 years ago in New Zealand. We pushed back against that as a school here, and now everyone's got over that, and we can do what we want to do with everyone else on board again. So most of the work is done on pen and paper. That's how you would have done it when you were at school, and it's the same thing now. Maths is the only subject when you get to the NCEA exams where they haven't said we're going digital first. You cannot do most of the maths exams on a computer at year 12 and 13. In fact, all of the externals are handwritten at year 11, 12 and 13 because they simply don't work on a computer. So most of our teaching is done with pen and paper as well. We do, however, use digital tools where necessary. You just used one as you walked in. There's loads and loads and loads of digital tools around we can use. One that we use for homework a lot is Education Perfect. So some of the boys in here may know Education Perfect because it's now government funded. We've been using it for 6 or 7 years, but it's now government funded. Thank you, well done. And we use some online graphing tools a lot too. We have lots and lots of support for our students outside of the classroom. So we have, I better make sure the bell doesn't get while I'm talking this time. We have Mr. She runs lunchtime tutorials at least 3 days a week. Mr. Plant runs after school tutorials Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know that Matua Tim runs some tutorials after school and at lunchtime. All year those tutorials run, and as we get towards exams there's more of them as well. But students from all levels can turn up to them. It's mostly seniors who come, but even year 9s who need some extra help, it's there for you. So let's talk about year 9 and year 10 maths. So there's 8 core classes and all of them learn the same thing, particularly in year 9. So those these 8 areas on the top, that's what the government says we have to teach. That has never changed in as long as I've been teaching. Those are the things we teach in maths. Year 9s get 3 lessons a week, year 10s get 4 lessons every week. Those 8 core classes for our 200 students are split up so that one is an accelerated class, and it's an accelerated class across all the core subjects. They stay together for those. There's 7 mixed ability classes. Now when you come here next year and your son gets placed into a class that's not the accelerated class, I can guarantee you it's not the dumb class. No matter what rumours go around, there is no dumb class. They are definitely mixed classes. I've been part of putting those together in the past. There is 1 accelerated class and 7 mixed classes. All of the students learn the same in year 9, the accelerated class just at a higher level. At year 10, the accelerated class undertakes the Cambridge exams, and Mr. She teaches that class this year, and then a small number of them can be accelerated through to year 12. Normally between 4 to 6 students get accelerated. In year 10 at the moment, all students do the numeracy assessment, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that, with the new curriculum and the new assessments that are coming in. So there may or may not be a high stakes test in year 10 for your boys when they get there. In the senior years, this is the new stuff that was released on Saturday. I don't know much detail about this, other than the fact that the obvious changes is year 12 maths is splitting into 2 subjects, which it hasn't been as long as maths has been in schools in New Zealand. And year 13 is splitting into 4 subjects. The top 2 are the ones we know that are currently called calculus and statistics. The bottom 2, statistics and data science, is bringing statistics and the computer science world together, and the further mathematics is doing logical proofs and that sort of thing, things you would do at university in 1st and 2nd year maths at the moment. That's for the real maths nerds, that one there. All right, let's go back to think about the poll that you did at the beginning where you said how you felt about mathematics. If you thought that mathematics was a punishment, I apologise. I apologise for the teachers that probably taught you. There may have been teachers in the past who wanted it to be a punishment, but most teachers don't want maths to be a punishment. And I'm hoping that none of your boys will feel the same way. If you thought maths was really cool, that's awesome. You're going to pass on to your children exactly those thoughts. From a teacher perspective, I never get to talk to parents as much as I do on this night. So my advice to you as parents in terms of helping your son do maths and in terms of helping the teacher succeed in teaching the maths is to be a champion of maths, whether or not you like it. Find maths everywhere, because it is everywhere. When you're cooking, when you're driving, around home, when you're shopping, there is maths in absolutely everything we do, and involve your children in that maths whenever you can. That would be really cool. Talk to them about the maths they do at school, and talk to them about the maths in their world, and never ever say that you didn't need it, so neither do they. Because they hear that, because whether you like it or not, parents are their kids' heroes. And so if you say you didn't need it, they know they didn't need it. Yeah, see, don't tell him that he's your hero, but I'll tell him. All right, I better let you go on to the next one. Thanks very much for listening.
My name's Nicola Gelston and this is Sam Fairweather. We're 2 of the science teachers here at St John's College. Got a really quick spiel to talk you through science at our school, with hopefully plenty of time to have a look at all the toys and stuff around the edges there, and if you want to ask any questions as well. Okie dokie. Right, so year 9 and 10 science currently is physical science and biological science, which basically in the old school world of parents, biology, chemistry, physics, earth science, astronomy. So nothing's really changed, they just kind of rejigged it in terms of names of where things are. So we teach all of them across year 9 and 10. With the current curriculum changes happening with the government, year 11 is also going to be a compulsory subject science for year 11s. We're currently optional, but we do probably have about 85% of our year 11s do take science. Currently our timetable is such that our year 9 boys get 3 lessons of science per week, which is about right for us to get through what they need to learn. Science is fun, but science is pretty hard too. Okay, so they really enjoy it, but it is a lot to know, as you probably remember from science, a lot of knowledge-based information. This is most of our science teachers here. We're missing our horticulture teacher in the photo, and we're missing one other. I can't think who it is right now. But we've all got quite a lot of experience of being scientists before we came into teaching. So we've got a doctorate, a PhD biochemical doctorate. We've got forensic scientists, we've got microbiologists, chemists, physics lecturers. So we've all come to teaching science a little bit after as a second career. Now, science to us is explosive. Mine was a dud today. I tried doing that and it went for. So I'm not a chemist, I'm a biologist. So that's what it should have looked like, Dak. Okay, so just so you know. Physics and propulsion. Obviously, we're not going to go to NASA, but certainly it is inspiring for us. Definitely precision. We do a lot of measuring in science. Usually, if we do something, doing in science, we have to measure something. It shows us awe and wonder. These are my Year 12 boys from a few years ago doing their heart and lung dissection. We've left the gore out of it for you, but they love it. As you can see, they're all thinking it's amazing. Gives us a different perspective as well. Okay, so we can see how the world is, why it is. Lots of technology happening these days, so there's a lot of advancement in what we potentially can do, and we need all our young people to come through, learn how to do that and do it for us, which would be pretty excellent. Provides us results. Some of the boys are doing chemistry last week, making some rainbows with chemicals. This is Sakesh, who's one of our Year 10 students this year. He did an outstanding science fair board last year and won his area, which was fantastic. And lots of potential opportunities for boys if they want to take them on board. After year 19 and 11, science is definitely an optional subject, and we do have biology, chemistry, physics specialties. Horticulture is another science that we teach at school, and then we have general science for the kids who may not be wanting to pursue it into university but still want to keep a hand in with science or just really interested in it as well. Science is going to create teamwork. We have to work in teams a lot in science, help each other out, particularly with our practical work. So we learn how to cooperate and do things well together there. And of course, science inspires us, not me personally doing this, but how cool would that be? That would be pretty amazing to have that opportunity to get to that point where you could one day go out to orbit the moon and come back and land and tell your story about it. Okay, so there's heaps of opportunities for science. It is a hard subject for a lot of kids, but the idea is that it's an interesting subject and it makes them ask questions and wonder why. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is John De Vega. I am the Head of Faculty of Religious Education. I've been here at St. John's for 4 years. I took on the role of Head of Faculty this year, so still new to the role, still learning, so go easy on me. But yeah, really enjoy being here. I've got my colleagues here to introduce themselves as well.
I'm Brian Belzecchi. I'm Director of Catholic Character. So my role at the school is, I'm also in the RE faculty teaching in there, but my role is also to look after the Catholic Character of the school alongside Shane. So I'm part of the management team, particularly looking at Catholic Character. And
I'm Donna McHugh and I look after the music department here at St. John's.
So I'm just going to go straight into what we want to develop for your boys. Okay, so a few things obviously in terms of religious education. Hopefully when your boys come through here asking some of the deep questions, asking about faith, exploring those questions. Okay, so don't hesitate to ask your RE teachers. Okay, but also that last point there, building resilience is what we want to develop here at St. John's. Okay, it's really important, especially in this time that we have. It's something that grounds us. RE is really a way to develop those skills. Some of the unit or the topics that we cover, so St. John's College, we look at the tradition, what we do, who we are, what it means to be a Marist man. So it's quite a nice transition for those new Year 8s coming into Year 9. So understanding our house saints, who St. John's is. So that is something that we cover as they journey here in the first term. And then in term 2, we look at the creation stories, followed by stories of Jesus in term 3, and then the stories of initiation with obviously a strong literacy focus. So in terms of that idea, our previous head of faculty really tried to focus on making ARI a really academic subject, okay, and that's been developed across Year 9 to Year 13. So really challenging our boys to really get involved in terms of our academic subject. And then in Year 10, we get a little bit more specific and deeper into some of the Bible stories in the Good News. And then in term 2, we're looking at the image of God. So what does it mean, or who is God to them? And then in term 3, we look at the saints, followed by that final topic, we're looking at vocation. So what are they called to do? What are they called to do here at St. John's, but also beyond, and when they move on from St. John's? And then in our senior program, we go into a little bit more critical thinking. So some subjects there, we look at Catholicism, obviously, in terms, and also other world religions, but also some of the more intense subjects. So some of the ethical questions, and also questions that they may have regarding to religion. I'll pass this on to Brian, just some of the things.
So part of my role as Catholic character has been to organise and plan and deliver masses and what have you. So basically there are 4 houses, and each 2 of the houses go to mass once a fortnight. So your boy will go to mass once a month on a Wednesday period 3. And so we have Monsignor Frank Eagleton as our chaplain. He's a lovely old gentleman. He's just turned 80. And he's an old boy of the school, loves the boys, loves the school, and he's well loved by all of us here at the school as well. He's a lovely, lovely gentleman. We also go to the cathedral 3 times a year. We go to their opening school mass down there, our closing school mass down there, and we have our patronal feast day for Mass and Champagne on the 10th of June, so that's coming up. So we go down to the cathedral for that. We offer a sacramental program here, which has been a little bit fought after at the moment. We've tried to keep it here, and that's for students who may well be baptised, but have not received the other sacraments, confirmation, Eucharist, or are not baptised. In which case, we offer a program for them for that to happen. Okay, and it's very gentle, and it's actually tailored to boys your age. It's not colouring in that you might get in some of the other places. It's tailored for the boys your age, and we expect them to ask lots of questions. It's about finding out whether this is what you really want to do. Last thing I want to talk about is religious education is compulsory Year 9 to 13 for every student. So our faculty we are very privileged to see all of the students through the faculty at least once a week, and normally twice or 3 times a week. Okay?
Thank you. Just to sum up versus what we study versus what we learn, just that motto down there, preparing young men for life. Hopefully in our faculty, we want to prepare good men for life. Okay, so once they've journeyed through Year 9 to Year 13, we hope that they can make good choices, build on good values when they've moved on from St. John's. But yeah, thank you for your time.
Good morning everyone, I'm Donna McHugh and I look after the music department at St. John's, and it's a really cool place to be. Some of the options for instruments that we offer are up here. Hands up if you play an instrument. Cool, what do you play? Drums, nice. Guitar, so cool. Yeah, guitar.
Accompanist.
Oh, accompanist, piano. Anyone else? So if you're playing an instrument and you've got, or if you would like to learn an instrument, this is what we offer here. I will get your details at the end of this year and early next year, and I can organise for you individual or group lessons. So you can start to learn a new instrument or continue to learn an instrument. At school we have music as a rotation, so you take it for 2 terms. Then during that time we learn different instruments. We learn to play music in a group together. We do little bands. We learn how to speak about music. We learn about the elements of music and different musical styles. And if that's something that you're like, yeah, this is cool, then take it in year 10 and 11 and throw into year 12 and 13. We also do composition, which is songwriting and learning to write original pieces of music. At the moment, these are some of the groups that we have at St John's. So I'm very busy, as you can imagine, looking after all of these different extracurricular groups. And they do lots and lots of cool things. And it's a great way to be involved, a great way if you're learning an instrument, join a group, meet some people, play music together, have some fun. And these are some of the group opportunities that we've had over the last year. The last one we've done, Oliver, obviously lots of big cast there for Oliver. We had it at Clarence Street. Different singing competitions, jazz competition, band competitions, lots and lots of different ways to play your instrument and get out on stage and have fun. That's what it's about. It's about trying something new, and this is the school to do it at. If you have never tried an instrument before, this is the place to do it at. And you will be so welcomed. And sometimes this is a little bit scary, performing in front of people. You saw our jazz band, potentially, if you were here early enough, you would have seen our jazz band performing. We had a year 10, that was his first performance. So nervous, and at the end he was buzzing. So that's what we give those opportunities. We've got our head boy here. Yeonjoon, can you give us a wave? Yeonjoon is a music student extraordinaire. Can you tell me, Yeonjoon, of these groups, which ones you're in?
I used to be in the jazz choir.
You did used to be in that, true.
I am in the choir, I'm in the concert band. I can't play guitar. I filled in for Irish Cayley once.
You did?
I'm in
You
the
did?
baritone
Very
quartet
good.
and chorus. I'm in the liturgy band. And I used to be in the drum choir.
Perfect. So there you go.
It sounds like he
And he's his boy, so here you go. We, the Irish Cayley group, go and play at Biddy Mulligan's. Every day it's the every day. I wish. It's St Patrick's Day, and this is the longest running Hamilton music group that we have. It was set up by a music teacher from a long time ago. If there's any old boys here, Ross boys, he set that group up, and we're still keeping it nice and strong here. So yeah, okay, some smiles, yeah. So the department hasn't changed in terms of the same building. If you guys were part of it, same building but way better gear. We've upgraded, we've got some really nice gear.
Mr. Paul Arden, I am the assistant principal here at St John's College. What I'm going to talk about is sort of the broader life here at St John's College and what that looks like. So you've been going to all of the subject areas, and so what will that look like for your son next year? Well, we have core subjects at St John's College: English, mathematics, science, social studies, RE, and PE and health. One subject that's also compulsory next year is Te Reo Māori. Your son will be involved in that 2 times a week. Which brings us to option subjects. There are 7 option subjects that are available. We have drama, art, music, graphics, food, digital technology, and hard materials. Your son will be able to take 6 of those subjects. So there's only one that they choose they don't want to do, and the other 6 they'll be involved in. 3 for the first half of the year, 3 for the second half of the year. And so what does that look like? In year 10, based on the subjects they took in the first half of based on the subjects they took in year 9, they have the option to choose 2 subjects for year 10. Then in year 11, they can choose 3 option subjects. We strongly encourage, though, that they do take a science subject. In year 12, they have 5 subjects to choose from, and in year 13, they have 5 subjects to choose from. And so what do those subjects look like? We've got accounting, geography, in the languages, Te Reo Māori. You could take chemistry, physics, or horticulture, physical education or outdoor education, calculus, or statistics, or drama, music, digital technology, or art. As you can see, there's a wide range of subjects available at St John's College. So, in regards to NCA results, we pride ourselves on our results. We believe our young men achieve at some of the highest levels within our region. The yellow bar is St John's College. The blue bar is the national male average in New Zealand. So as you can see, our young men are achieving well above the national average. So next year, your son will be required to use a device and bring a device to school. We are a BYOD school, so if you just got a little bit of a nudge to the hip just then or the rib from your son saying, I need the latest MacBook, that's not necessary. A Chromebook that can connect to the internet and use the Google Suite system is all that is required. They will use a device in the majority of their subjects every single day. Please make sure they bring a charger. The pastoral care system, so we operate vertical form classes, which involves 5 students from each form class meeting at the start of the day. They will be with this form class throughout their time at St John's College, and it's where our older students are able to mentor our younger students. A dean will be appointed at the start of the year, and they will spend 5 years with your son's year group. That's important for your son to know who they can contact if they ever have a question, but more importantly, who you as parents can contact if you've got any questions. We also have experienced guidance counsellors on school grounds at all times should your son need anyone to talk to. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about is the Marist Man Award. And this is an award that is exclusive to St John's College and something that we really pride ourselves on. It's an opportunity to recognise students at St John's College who grow their faith, strengthen their integrity, and serve both the college and wider community. So what does that look like? Well, we're encouraging our young men to constantly be engaged with our religious education classes. We want them to be attending all school masses, be it a full school mass or a house mass. Integrity for this award looks like 85% attendance and also students maintaining positive behaviour in the classroom and a strong work ethic. Finally, we want all of our young men to contribute a minimum of 20 hours of service. So far this year, that service can take place either in the school, in the community, or within the church. And so far this year, we've had 185 young men contribute service hours so far this year, and we have a total of 34 young men who have or will be just about to receive the Marist Man Award. This is an award that we really pride ourselves on. We've got our younger students who get the badge, gets put it on the collar, or as you can see, our head boy, he's got plenty of badges there, loves to wear them. It's something that they aspire to. All right. I'm now going to introduce our sports director, Mr. Joe Small, who's going to talk about sport at St John's College.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, since I'm going to be talking about sport, we're going to start with a warm-up, so you can just leave your shoes here. We're going to go for a quick run outside. No, jokes. I'm just quickly going to give you a quick overview of sport at St John's. I've been involved in St John's for almost 8 years, and it's amazing to see how our boys grow and develop on the sporting field. Now, what's very important is that we offer competitive and non-competitive teams in most of our sports. Now, what that means is if sport means a whole heap to you and you want to progress and be competitive, there'll be a team for you. If you just want to have fun with your mates out on the field, there'll be teams for you as well. We've got 25 different codes currently, and our participation is 69%, which means 69% of our total number of boys do at least one sport. I'm extremely proud of that. You can see it's much higher than the regional and the national average, and it keeps on growing from year to year to year. We also have a huge amount of our staff involved in sport that will be coaching, managing, officiating. We constantly look at upgrading our facilities. You're sitting in this amazing venue. It is about 5 or 6 years old, but it feels like it just opened the other day. We use it every single day. It's a phenomenal venue. Soon we will have a rock climbing wall there on the one side there that we're going to install as well. Our rugby fields have had a major overhaul in the last couple of years. We are also looking at upgrading some of our other facilities. Standout performances. I'm not going to go through all of that. You're welcome to read some of that. But what it shows is that we excel in, let's call it your traditional bigger sports, as well as your minor sports. I almost want to say no one gets left behind. We try and look after everyone, doesn't matter what kind of sport he wants to do. If we don't offer this code, we get you in contact with a club that can offer it. A classic example is something like boxing. We don't have it at St. John's, but we can get you in contact with the right people. I am going to brag a little bit about our cricket team that's done phenomenally this last year. They play in the men's comp and they won the Premier T20 comp and the 2-day comp, and they narrowly lost in the 1-day competition. Cricket is very close to my heart, so that's why I'm giving it a thumbs up. Then last but not least, our international tours to South Africa. Now, we've done this in 2024. We did it in 2026. This year again, we came back. I'll be done. We only came back about 2 weeks ago. There's families sitting here and boys that went on those tours. We took rugby, cricket and hockey. And the reason I'm telling you this is we're going to do this all again in 2028. So there's something for you guys to look forward to. It's not just the boys, it's for the families as well. We had a total of 180 people that went over to South Africa, and it was a phenomenal experience. I haven't met a single person on the last two trips that said it wasn't worth it. It's cheapest trips, number one, and just the cultural experience is amazing. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to come and ask me afterwards, but thank you very much for your time.
Deja Voodoo. Athlete development is what I am the chief administrator for, and I also look after our strength and conditioning specialist, which I'll talk to briefly at the... Really? Because I've been through this process before, I know that when you're sitting out here, the only thing you really want to know is what is my son going to do next year. So what I've written on the board here is what we did in this year, in 2026. I can't guarantee this is what it will be in 2027 because the curriculum keeps changing every other week, but this week, this is what it is. We are currently doing fundamental movement skills as our theme for the entire year. We use hitting and striking as a unit of work, and we use badminton, pickleball, tennis and hockey as our contexts. So what we do is we teach pickleball, which has a nice short bat. We transfer that skill to tennis, where the racket's a little bit longer, and then we transfer those skills again to badminton, where the racket is longer again. And then we do hockey. So effectively the implement has got longer and longer, and the transfer of skills moves from one to the next. We then do hitting and striking, kicking, and we do football. So we do futsal usually first. Football followed by Aussie rules. So the complexity increases with each activity. We do throwing and catching as a piece of work, also underneath this umbrella. And then throwing and catching, we normally do cricket and softball. And if you've got a cool PE teacher, they might let you do dodgeball. But they shouldn't. We do gymnastics sometime in the middle of the year because it's funny, because kids are really bad at it. And also because it helps their kinesthetic and spatial awareness. They're really bad at doing forward rolls. We do touch rugby as an interclass tournament, usually towards the end of term one, and I at least do basketball, and I do it first. Because we're a traditional basketball school, we do really, really well nationally. Couldn't get away without doing basketball. You do it first, when the kid goes, "Can I do basketball?" You can go, "You've already done it." And then you don't have to do it again. Then in year 10, we do adventure-based learning. This is when we give them problems, and they have to complete the activity. They use problem solving, they use cooperation and leadership to complete the activities. We do that at the start of the year so the group kind of melds. And then we do attacking and defensive strategies within the context of American football. So this is learning zone defense, man-on-man defense, how to create plays that create space for other people in your team. And we do game sense in volleyball and ultimate frisbee. Game sense is not just learning the skills of the sport. So when you learnt volleyball, you would have learnt dig, set, spike. But game sense is how to win a game. Because playing games are fun, but winning them is even more fun. We do parkour, which is a creative movement, so we don't have to do dance. We do tennis, and we do soft cross. Soft cross is the precursor to lacrosse. This is teaching a skill that most kids are completely unfamiliar with, which is really good from a teaching perspective, because we can see whether the kids can actually learn something from row to go with no previous experience. Cute little pictures, move on. This is our senior program, and as parents for the first time who don't know what's going on here, you're probably not so interested in the senior school, but this is it. The thing that might be of interest to some of you is that core PE is actually compulsory up to the end of year 12 at St John's, whereas at many schools it can actually finish at the end of year 10. We have advanced physical education in levels 1, 2 and 3. That is what you might know as sports science. We have scholarship, which are students actually doing this year, which is great. And we have sports leader, an alternative unit standards-based program, which is not so academic. And then we have outdoor education at levels 1, 2 and 3, which my compatriot, Mr. Kyle Jackways, the legend himself, is going to talk to.
So no matter that part. Yes, so as was mentioned, I look after Out the Red here at school, which once your young men are year 11 or up, they can choose as an option subject. We do a whole range of different contexts. You've probably seen them flashing up on the screen over next to me. But we do the traditional tramping, camping, weather, survival and map stuff. And then we do a bunch of other things from canyoning, rock climbing, mountain biking. What else is up there? All sorts of different bits and pieces, but I'm not going to continue to go through those. They are just the body or the context that we use to teach the skills we actually want our young men to come away with, which are these lovely things over here if you can see them from down the back. The skills we want our young men to come out about the red with are the ability to manage risk, so to look at something and decide is it real risk, is it perceived risk, and know what the difference between the two of them are. We want them to be able to manage their time effectively, be good time managers, be well organised, because let's face it, doing all of these things, they're going to be away from their other classes and away from school quite a number of days throughout the year. And while they may think it is a get out of jail free card and they won't have to do their other classes and subjects assignments, that's not how it works. So they've actually got to be pretty well organised to finish our stuff and still all the other stuff while being away as well. Kind of by default, they get good at working on the edge of or probably outside of their comfort zones and finding a bit of comfort in the uncomfortable. And by the time they finish, we want them to have gained some self-belief and some confidence in their own abilities to realise that they can actually achieve and complete a whole range of different things they might not have otherwise thought they were capable of. I kind of tend to think that those skills, while most people look at us as a less academic course, the skills that we teach and we want our boys to come away with are pretty useful no matter what your career pathway ends up being. Whether you're going to work in an office as some fancy pants businessman or you're going to be more outdoorsy based like what you've done at school with us, those are skills that are going to be useful for you regardless of your walk of life. So that is kind of what we're aiming at. Our course is 100% unit standards, which means no achieve merit excellence. You either pass or you fail with us. You do have to get 100% to pass each different standard. However, it is open book, or by today's standard, that means you get the internet to your disposal. Can't yet use AI to complete your work for you, much as that upsets half of our boys. You can, however, use it to research the information, or you can learn it through your experiences, or what we try and share with them during class. So yeah, hopefully it lets them come away with some pretty awesome experiences to take into the rest of their lives.
Thank you, Mr. Jackman. We're also responsible for teaching health, which we do at Year 9 and 10. Currently in Year 9 we do whole water as a unit of work, which introduces the concept, which is the mental, emotional, spiritual, social and physical aspects of health. We do a unit called Being a Maris Man, which is about relationships and values and choosing good role models. We talk about bullying, and we do a unit on being a responsible digital citizen. We also have a Year 10 program, which is based around this idea as Year 10s as risk takers. So it's risk taking in water, risk taking when it comes to drug use or misuse, and risk taking in regards to your sexuality. I'm also the Chief Administrator for the Athlete Development Program, which is an options course that runs in Year 9 and Year 10. The program is aimed at elite sports people, and you get to work with a member of staff and our strength and conditioning specialist, which is Rohan Kandoy. Rohan is, he shares his time between St John's and Northern Districts Cricket, where he's an S&C. He's just worked with the Northern Brave, and he's also had an internship with the White Ferns. Because he's a popular guy and he works with the first 15 and the first 11 and pretty much every premier team in the school, everyone wants to work with him. We normally have more than 100 applicants to apply for the Athlete Development Program, but we only have 34 spaces to put them in. So there is actually a selection process. So once you're enrolled at St John's, I will email out the application process, usually late in term 3 or early in term 4. It's basically a Google form that you fill online, and then you'll be invited to take part in some fitness testing which takes place on the orientation day. Those fitness tests usually include a cardiorespiratory endurance test, some form of power test, some speed-related test, and a movement competency one. Those are the ones that we did in 2025. So they do tend to change. We sometimes mix them up. We do also check the attitude of the students. So we have members of staff walking around making sure that you're not a unsavoury member of... That's Rohan doing his thing. Because Kyle and I have had to talk really quickly tonight to get through all the material, I have placed most of the material in a brochure, which is in a digital format and going to be emailed out to you hopefully in the next 24 hours. So should you have any questions, you might find your answer in the brochure. But we hopefully have gone fast enough so that we've got a little bit of time to answer any questions you might have.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. It's so good that you've taken the time, especially at this time of the week, to be with us at our open evening. My name is Linda Marburg and I am the head of technology and the arts. So we've got a huge umbrella. They're 9 areas and I'm going to take you through them, just reminding you, year 8s especially, that this is about opportunity. Practical experiences, collaboration with others when you design things, lots and lots of different factors. So this is where you can think, oh, that's something I'd love to do, but I've always been a little bit scared or not had an opportunity. This is our area. We're proud of it. We'd love to show you through. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what we do, and then I'm going to direct you to the areas so that you know where you'd like to go. I think this is your last stop, so you're probably able to spend a bit more time if you want to. So that's our faculty. And our first area that I'd like to speak to is the wood tech workshop. So that's through that way. And what you do in year 9, as far as wood goes, is you take electronics. And electronics is a bit of wood tech and a bit of electronics all together. So you get 2 subjects in one. Now that workshop is just down the passage that way, not this workshop, but the next one. You'll see it's all lit up and you'll see all the kits, the soldering kits and all sorts of things that happen in there. However, if this is your passion, you will come back and do building and construction. Mr. Manders has come in tonight to show you a little bit about his projects, and that's pretty much what that workshop looks like. Now, if you're not into wood tech, you might be into metal tech. That's our workshop on that side. If you're a year 9, you can do materials technology, metal. So you will do little projects made out of steel. You might be cutting, bending, and learning a little bit about that material. When you're a senior, we call it engineering. And it goes from year 11 to year 13. So make all sorts of projects. And we've got a few samples out. Just bear in mind that a lot of students haven't finished their projects. They've just got through the designing process, a lot of health and safety at the beginning of the year, and they're starting to build. So we put samples out for you to see what happens. Electronics, I've alluded to a little bit. That goes on in senior years from year 11 to year 13. And we have an electronics club that is open to any junior students as well. So that's a repair shop. You'll see the little sign up there at the electronics workshop, and they fix and take things apart and look at little electronics boards and components and just learn lots of facts about electronics with like-minded boys around them. Food technology and hospitality. So we have junior food tech here at St. John's. That's where I started my journey at St. John's, and we have got my colleague in the food room tonight that will tell you anything you like about anything you need to know about the junior course. We also have hospitality for the seniors. We have a little bit of competition work if that's you. So a little bit of culinary fair, that's what we are busy with at the moment, preparing for the culinary fair at Wintec at the end of term. We have digital technology. Miss Chalisha is here. She's got a blue skirt on and some keys around her neck, and she will tell you anything you like about digital technology. We do have digital labs on the other side of the school, so you won't see them tonight, but she will tell you anything you need to know. That also goes up to scholarship. She's been very fortunate to get some students through scholarship in Year 13, which is a great honour. Now, Ms. Chilishe also worked out that there were people that would want to do robotics. So she has started a program of robotics. So that's a little bit of coding, designing, collaboration, building, competitions, and that seems to be a winner with a lot of boys. Visual arts. Visual arts can come along in different forms. In Year 9, you get a little taste of lots of things. You'll be on your phone taking photos and working out how to edit them, and then you'll be painting, then you'll be sketching. Miss Greenwood is very, very experienced with lots of different media. And then when you become a senior, she will either guide you to the painting, the printmaking, or mostly photography. Those three are our main ones. Please look at the seniors' boards. They're along that passage. Don't miss out. We've got DVC as well. Design and visual technology, communication, also known as graphics for some of us. So juniors, Year 9s and 10s, you start on paper with rulers and learn how to draw properly, and then you go into SketchUp, which is a program that you can use digitally for the same thing, and then senior years, you use CAD. So a little bit of design, and you learn the CAD system, which is pretty cool because you'll see some of the boys work in the DVC room, and that will be the last room that you go through before you pop out to go home. Drama is exciting as well. We've got it from Year 9 to Year 13. Mrs. Hale has come in. That's her little setup there where it says drama, and she can answer all your questions. To be honest, great confidence building. If you're a boy that doesn't really like to put himself out there, sign up for drama. She will sort you out. I promise you, I've seen it happen. She also takes people on really good trips, from juniors to seniors, class trips with the music teacher to see lots and lots of things and get lots of experience in that sort of performing arts. We also run our productions every second year from here alongside Sacred Heart, so that's something to look forward to as well. So Year 8 boys, you've got to think about this tonight. Have a look at an area where you think your passion might lie, something that you've never thought of before. Perhaps that's for you.